Oh my goodness. Lots of transfer on my wine glass today. Hello, YouTube. Welcome back to I guess, am I calling it my show? I guess it's my show, isn't it? Yeah, so welcome back. I'm Great Aunt Lydia, and welcome to another video here on the YouTube. I'm so excited that you're here. I hope you've had a wonderful week in between this video and the last video. Assuming you watched the last video, I hope you did. So today we're continuing talking about books. I do love books. I really do. Books are wonderful. I like a library. Sometimes I just go to the library and I stay there all day long. Of course, I can't bring wine to the library, but you know, sacrifices must be made. And of course, we are talking about the Harry Potter book. And of course, anytime we talk about the Harry Potter books, I do have to mention that we here at the Great Aunt Lydia YouTube channel, or the KJ Bell channel. Am I on my own channel? No. Okay, of course not. So we here on this channel do not support the terrible views of the author of this series. Just terrible, terrible views. It's very disappointing when somebody, I understand this from talking to my nephew, because of course I didn't grow up with these books. I just read them very recently. It can be so devastating when somebody who did something that we admire so much lets us down in such a very, very intense way. And I think that the boy who played the Harry Potter in the movies had a very excellent essay about this. Perhaps I can tweet it, or I can do something.
Yeah.
Something. In the description of this video.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds nice. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. Because I think he spoke very eloquently about how the series can still mean whatever it means to you. And I know that's hard. But today we're talking about the third book in this series, which is The Prisoner of... I've never said it out loud before. Azkaban. I'm not sure. I just read the book. It's a prisoner of a wizard prison, So Harry's in his room on the summer holidays. This is the summer after he escaped. So he's not locked up in the room anymore. His aunt and uncle are just, I don't know, just mad, I suppose. And he gets birthday presents, and one of them is a book that bites people, which seems like an odd present to receive. And then there's a letter with a permission slip for him to get signed so he can visit a village or something. I do find it odd that this is a school where you need a permission slip to go to a town that's nearby, but we can just have three-headed dogs hanging around whenever we want. So his uncle's sister comes to visit. So his uncle is married to his aunt, who's the blood relative, because that's his mother's sister. So the aunt is not actually his aunt, but he still has to call her an aunt. You can call me an aunt if you want. As I've said before, any of you out there, I will be your aunt if you need one. Now, where was I? So the aunt comes to visit. And she said something that makes him very angry, so Harry blows her up like a balloon, not like dynamite. Like there's no kaboom, it's just an inflation, you see. So he gets all of his stuff and he leaves the house and gets on a purple bus that takes him to London, and it pushes things out of the way. But he goes to the inn there where he went shopping in the first book. And stays the rest of the summer. It seems a little odd to have a 13-year-old just staying in a hotel for the remainder of the summer. But I was very independent at 13. I suppose I could have done it if I needed to. And so while he's staying there, his friend Ron's families comes and stays too, and he overhears Ron's parents talking about how the dangerous prisoner that escaped from Azkaban came and is actually looking for him, because apparently this guy was like what's his name? What's the bad guy's name? Voldy. Voldy guy, he was like that guy's. The prisoner that escaped is a bad guy, and he's after Harry. That's the whole point. So they get on the train to the school, and they can't find anywhere to sit, and they find a cabin with a new teacher, apparently, who's just asleep on the train, because of course the new teachers have to get to the school, I suppose. I would want to be there before the first day, myself, to just prepare a little bit, but I guess if there's only one way to get there with the train, there must be other ways to get there. So at some point on the journey, the train stops, and this strange creature searches the train, a dementorator, or a dementorator, something like that. It makes Harry. It gets very cold, and Harry here screams, and he passes out. And it turns out that they are like the creatures that guard the prison where the Azkaban, where the prisoner escaped from. So they're looking for that prisoner, and they're around the school because it's assumed that this guy is going to come after Harry Potter. You see, yes, because Harry Potter can't catch a break. That's the whole point of the series. Something's always going wrong. So it turns out because he blew up the ant at the beginning, he didn't get the permission slip signed, so he can't go to the village. Which again, you can go down a corridor with a three-headed dog, but you can't go to the village with a sweet shop. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I'm not in charge of a wizard school, so whatever. But he does find a secret passageway. There's a map. There's a map of some sort that he gets from somebody, and he goes down a secret tunnel, and he sneaks into the village. Like teenagers do. They sneak into places where they're not supposed to be. But while he's doing the sneaking, he hears some of the teachers talking about the prisoner guy who escaped. And it turns out that the prisoner guy who escaped was his dad's best friend. And betrayal occurred and things. And intrigue.
Intrigue?
Yes, intrigue. Intrigue, suspense. So the prisoner was his dad's best friend, and he's responsible for Harry's parents dying, because he's how Voldy guy found out about where Harry's parents were. It's still not made clear at all why Voldy guy wanted to kill Harry. And of course, there's if you haven't read the books by now or seen the movies, don't yell spoiler alert at me. That's the thing I've learned on the internet. That people talk about spoiler alerts, which is where a plot line gets spoiled. Yes, I've learned that. Didn't even have to do one of your silly little quizzes. So there's a whole lot of drama that goes on. There's like Ron and Hermione are fighting because of Ron's rat and Hermione's cat, and Hagrid, Harry's giant friend, has this creature called a hippogriff. It's like a hippopotamus and a griffin are the words, but that's not the animals. It's like an eagle and a horse. So I don't know why hippo. It must be something to do with Latin. Something Latin, I assume. Hagrid has this creature that the government has decided to execute because it attacked the Malfoy boy, who is, he deserved it, honestly. He was, he's been very terrible, and he just got a scratch. I'm not saying that, you should scratch children, but if you can't follow instructions and you get hurt, that's why they have instructions. Just saying. On the night when the government is coming to execute the Beaky Buck, which is the creature's name, the three of them, the Harry, Ron, and Hermione, they go down to be with Hagrid so he's not alone. And they find Ron's rat, who they think was dead. So they're going back to the castle, and the rat runs away. And he runs into there's a secret passageway underneath the tree that they crashed into in the last book. So the tree that beat up the car, you remember, it's a tree that hits things. So the rat runs under there. They follow the rat or the dog comes, right? The dog comes and grabs Ron and takes him into the tree. So Harry and Hermione have to go down the passageway, and they end up in this house in the village, this old abandoned house, the shack of shrieking, the screaming shack. That's what it is. They end up in the screaming shack. The dog that grabs Ron turns into the prisoner that escaped, because that's the thing that wizards can do, you see. So then the new teacher that was asleep in the compartment, who has been teaching Harry how to deal with the Dementorators all year, shows up because he has this map that he took from Harry. That it turns out, well, we'll get there. He shows up and says that he was friends with Harry's dad and the prisoner guy, and they were all sort of this gang. And there's a lot of stuff that they talk about. And the important point is that Ron was not really a rat. Ron's rat? Rat's Ron. It might be time to stop this. But it turns out that the prisoner guy didn't actually betray Harry's parents. The rat did. So they take the rat, who's actually a person. They take the rat person up to the castle. They're going to take him to give him to the government, who's there to kill the creature guy, the creature thing of Hagrid's. So the government is there at the time. So they're just going to take the guy and be like, here's the real person. Let the prisoner go. But then before they can get there, the Dementorators show up, and then Harry ends up fainting. Because that's what they do. The Dementorators make you, they like suck out your soul and all the energy or something like that. It seemed like a metaphor for depression, if you ask me. So Harry wakes up in the hospital, and and they find out that they're going to kill the prisoner guy because the rat guy escaped. And the only person who knew that anything was going on was Snape, the teacher that doesn't like Harry and doesn't like his dad and didn't like the prisoner guy and didn't like the new teacher and all this sort of stuff. So Snape says the prisoner guy needs to die. So they're going to use the Dementorators and kill the prisoner guy. And then a Dumble guy comes in, the principal of the school comes in and says there's nothing that he can do. He's this, it seems odd. He's this well-respected leader in the wizarding world, who's a principal at this school, but is asked to be the minister magic guy a bunch, and he can't do anything. Seems odd. Seems like there would be something that he could do. He says something to Hermione about time, and then he locks them in the hospital wing. And Hermione, after he locks the door, takes out this necklace, and it turns out it's a necklace that can do a share, see, and turn back time. Do young people still know who Cher is? Please tell me you out there know who Cher is. So the necklace takes them back in time, and they end up rescuing the Hippogriffin, and they use the Hippogriffin to rescue the prisoner guy, who is actually Harry's godfather. I don't know, did I say that? I don't know if I said that. He's actually Harry's godfather, who leaves on the Hippogriffin, and that's basically the end. They saved the guy, and Rat Guy has escaped, and we don't know where he went, but I assume it will come up in one of the other books. Well, I say assume, but I know what comes, because I've read them. I've read them all before we started shooting these videos, because I wanted to be prepared, do my homework and all that. Overall, I thought it was a very interesting storyline. I found it more interesting than the other two in the first two books. So I think it was interesting, this one. This was the first book where the Voldy guy wasn't the main villain. He was talked about, but he wasn't like the villain. I found the time trial part especially very interesting, and that's how Hermione was getting to. She took all of the classes, and that's how she was getting everywhere. It seems like she could have used it to take a nap every now and then, because she was so tired through the book. It seemed like there was not a lot happening for a lot of the book, and then all of a sudden a lot of things happened very, very fast. So that was kind of difficult to keep up with sometimes. Like toward the end, I don't think I got all of the information communicated very well, but that's kind of how I felt when I was reading it. there's a lot of the book where Harry and Ron aren't talking to Hermione because of the rat and the cat and everything, and it's just it seemed a little childish, some of it, but I mean they were 13 during all of this, so you have to take that into account. And there's a broomstick involved somehow. They're fighting about the broomstick. I know that was a thing. Oh, and I forgot about the map. So I think I said something about the map, but so Ron's brothers, the twins, Fred and George, gave Harry the map, and it turns out that it was the map. It's a map that shows everything in the castle. It's much better than the Google map. Well, it's kind of like the Google map because it shows you where you are and then shows other people. But a Google map doesn't show other people, thank goodness. But it turns out that it was made by his dad and the godfather and the new teacher and the rat, who were all like the gang, right? So they made the map. And then Fred and George got it somehow. And then they gave it to Harry. So it's like an inheritance sort of thing. So thank you for watching another video. We're gonna do the more books, more movies and things. If you have something that you think I should see, because I'm trying to just see as much as I can. Oh my god, this wig. I'm not having a very good wig day, you know. Sometimes it doesn't behave very well. If you have something that you think that I should watch or read or listen to or something, just leave it in the comments, you know. I'm pretty much open for anything, you know. There's not a whole lot pop culture wise that I know about these days. That's the whole point of this show, is I'm trying to figure it out. So if there's something that you think I should see, let me know in the comment section. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm getting the hang of this. So like this and subscribe to the channel, and the bell ringing is a thing. And yes, I'm Great Aunt Lydia. I hope you have a wonderful time. I would feel very violated if the pet that I had forever turned out to be a person. I mean, I assume you change in front of it and things. It's seen you in your nude and just in all sorts of compromising positions. I mean, what if you found out that one of your cats years down the line was a person? How would you feel?